All right, we are live, and this is Morning Coffee. We raise a cup of Joe to you, and we welcome our special guest, Mercury in retrograde, who has been wreaking havoc in all of our computers and Angie's Wi-Fi. So who knows what will happen, but we are here. I am here with Angie Ledbetter, who is coming to us from a beautiful lake. What lake are you at right now, Angie?
Lake Rosemount in West Feliciana Parish.
Cool. And where are you going to wind up? You've got a beautiful trip planned. I love it.
Going to Cajun country for a few days and go on the swamp tour on the Atchafalaya. I want to do the sunrise tour. And then on to Texas for a concert.
Aha. And going with your star himself, Dennis Ledbetter, who has his album out, and the name of his album is, his CD, I'm dating myself, listen to me, album, like vinyl. His CD is...
Because you asked me, if you drive me to drinking, I'll buy the gas.
I love it. I love it. And then coming to us from her closet in Texas is Kathryn Magendie, and your new boyfriend sitting behind you.
Yes, this is Pepito.
And prior to going on the air, Kat decided she better look up to see what Pepito means. And your boyfriend's name is what, Hot Stuff or something?
Yes, it means hot stuff, desirable, and, I mean, he is, isn't he?
He is, I know. There he is, sitting there guarding the underwear.
I had no idea that was what his name meant, but isn't that appropriate? Yes, Pepito.
There, looking over your shoulder. And right, he just messed up my beautiful hair, which needs some taken to. And I'm coming to you from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Same place I'm always coming from, but I just was too weak to pull my screen across today. So coming to you from my office. And today we're going to talk about creativity and imagination. Because between us, we have artists, photographers, authors, and poets. So I challenged each of these women, and they didn't know why, they should know, but they didn't, to give me a couple of words and a couple of phrases. So they did. And then right after that, I said, now we're going to write something about that. So each of us have done a writing. We've had one of our fans do a beautiful writing, and we're going to share that. And if any of you have done a writing that we couldn't find on all of the cyber craziness, give a shout out, and you can be the star of next week's show, and we will be happy to read your writing. So I don't know, does anybody feel like they want to go first with one?
Angie does.
Oh, thanks, Kat.
Okay, 2 against 1. Angie, do you want to start with yours or your friends?
Let's start with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
If I click over, can you still see me?
We sure can, yeah.
All right, this is my friend Maria's, who hasn't written a poem in years, so see, we did some creative fire and got her started.
And let's tell our audience, before we start, the words we had to use were dang and or laud. We can know whose word that is. Ain't that some shit? Let's go to Closet Girl. Those were her contributions. My contributions were Twitter pated and I don't have a dog and that their race. And Angie, you had what, how do you say, bohonkus?
Yeah, Bahonkas.
I had to look that up. It means butt. And that's the way the mop flops. So it's pretty clear who picked what, but that's what we had to use. So Angie, how did your friend use that?
All right, this is Maria Rocco's entry, and a beautiful poem it is, even with the horrible words and phrases. It's called Scatology. When asked to define a bahonkus, noggins were scratched all about us. 15 before 8, with hungers to say, look, Twitter pates on a plate, dang, they're long ones. Lord, how do we learn the best way to burn all these habits and nasty dry spells? Sometimes it's the turd from that funny gray bird, minding us he's the giver oh well. See, that's the way the mop flops. Yeah, well, ain't that some shit? Every day has a curse and a blessing. We be hoping for grace to save us from some face, and avoid seeing what we be missing. I don't have a dog in that there damn race. See, the pigs flew out to start bombing, so the dogs chases their tails while the pigs shat the mail, making up for pork they were chomping.
Ah, boy, she did a great job with that mess of stuff. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Very good. I think she's probably going to win the award of all of our writings, but we're still there. We have not revealed ours yet. I'll go with mine. How's
Good.
that? Dang, ain't that some shit? Here I am, pregnant with kid number 6. At least I have my shoes on so I ain't barefoot and pregnant. I can barely remember when love done flew the coop. Maybe after kid 3. When I first met Boomer, I remember my heart was all Twitter-pated. He was a mighty good looker, big manly arms and those bedroom eyes. We met at the pool and brew. Shared a few brews, and the next thing you know, kid number 1 announced himself. After kid number 3, we decided to make it legal. That was fun for a day or two. Now all Honkus does is sit on the front stoop, chawing on tobacco and drinking moonshine. Even now, as I try to make us some supper, I hear him fighting with his cousins about some stupid such thing. I was fixing to go out and tell them all to shut up. Law, the noise they make, but hey, I ain't got a dog in that there race. Man, how did life ever get away from me? Where did I lose my girlish figure that would turn heads when I walked down the street swinging my own bahonkus to catch the guy's eyes? Now my parts are sore and achy, heading south. Boomer 6, baby, is kicking around. Law, that's just the way the mop flops.
That was great, Ann.
Ooh, I snorted.
Okay, so it was a 1 snort reading. Good. You need to get a 2 or 3 snort reading. So that was my contribution to all of those words.
Very good use of the words and phrases, and you made a nice little vignette.
Sure did.
I forgot who Boomer 6 was for a minute, though. I thought, oh, Boomer 6. Anyway, but that is part of creativity, and I know, Angie, you teach writing groups, right? Or you're a member of writing groups. Do you ever do the word thing where you try to jumpstart what people have in their mind?
Yes. It's a good way. You have some parameters, so you can't wander too far off, but you have to follow the rules of those words. So it's a good creative way to get your juices flowing. You just have to stick to the however many words are on the list, and usually we do timed writing.
Yeah, that's fun, and it's fun too when everybody's looks so different.
Right.
Let's see what Cat from the Closet has.
All right. Here we go. The woman sat on her playfully dimpled and fruitfully delicious bahonkas, contemplating the universe of her Twitter-pating lover, who over the years liked to tell her when she asked him for an extra helping of his awesome sauce, of his good old days, of what he'd taken from her, which included her yummy youth. I don't have a dog in that there race. And she cocked her head thusly and gave it a danged old try again, and he'd pontificate, that's the way the mop flops. And one day she sat up from her playfully dimpled and fruitfully delicious bahonkas, looked him in his tiny little blue or green or brown or yellow eyes, and said, "You, kind sir, are destined to be departed from my existence." And the man, who had begun to drool over the thought of dinner, said, "Huh?" And she slapped the dirt from her playfully dimpled and fruitfully delicious bahonkas, slapped her feet on the good old ground, and laughing all the way left his shitty little skinny ass self sitting there. All she heard was the flummoxed remark, "Well, ain't that some shit?" For which she said, "Yeah, ain't that some shit indeed." That's it.
I love the playful words.
Kat, that was good. I love the way you made his eyes any color, so he's any man. Love it.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, yeah, and the playfulness to it as well. But oh goodness.
Yes, I'm quite playful.
Yes. And your guy smiling in the back, he liked it, Mr. Papito or whatever his name is.
Yes, he did. My lover.
Red shoes. Well, hop up there, sir.
Yeah, stay there. Stay there. He's hiding some stuff.
Yeah. And how was it to write? Was it you just sat? Where did you see these words? And then what do? You get the picture, and then you probably thought, "Ain't that some shit?" And then you start.
What, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's always got to be about imagining someone. So I can't think about the words. I just have to think about, because that's how I write my books. I think about the character, and then I envisioned her sitting there, and that's who she is. In fact, I may have to use her again. I kind of like her. She might
Yeah.
have to pop up somewhere again.
Yeah, she's got quite a bahonkus.
She needs a name. So yeah.
Oh, we're not going to have another contest. We'll spare everybody.
No,
more
not a contest. Not
No
a
more
contest.
contest.
No, I'll name her. That's
Yeah.
the only way that'll work. So,
Kat, in your books, and this may be an unfair question, it may be, like what child do you like best, but was there a character that you really just identified with or had the most fun with in your books?
you know, the more I think about it, the more I realize Laura from the Lightning Charmer is more like me than I thought. I thought I was writing a completely different character, because like everybody always thinks I'm Virginia Kate, because some of that, situation from childhood was true, just a little bit of it.
And Virginia Kate is in the Grace series.
Yeah. But after I finished the Lightning Charmer, I realized how much I am like Laura, that all the stuff I had locked in me kind of just came out that I didn't even know. So I think, while I can't have a favorite character, like I really love Sweetie, and I have a lot of Sweetie in me, and I love Virginia Kate, I think Laura is more like me at this moment. So right now I'm kind of focused on her, thinking about her. So that's the way I have to look at it, because all my I love all my characters. They're like my friends and confidants, and I'd love to sit on the porch and have a cup of coffee or a vodka with them. So
and they're also very real. I think one of the feelings I had when I finished each of your books, and I saw that in the critiques, is that we lost our friends when the book was over. We become part of that family, or I still miss running the mountains with Sweetie, where I could get scratched because I could see myself running the mountains. So you really bring all of those people to life. And
well, good. Then I did my job.
Yeah, you did your job, girl. You did your job. Yeah, Angie. Well, you got your pile of words. How did you decide to go about it? You just.
I got up this morning and just started writing, let the words take me, and I knew I wasn't aiming for perfection, but just something to work from later. Get some words on paper, and then you can work on it later. Like Kat said, she likes the character that emerged from hers, and she might incorporate her later on. I'm going to work on this poem, and this is the really rough draft that just straight out the mill from this morning.
Let's hear it.
We're ready.
Southern detente gone bad. When you speak out from your gut after long thought, fact gathering and putting together past history patterns instead of pulling responses from the shallow regions of your bahonkas, just to be right or to win this round of an unwinnable argument, you show your true self. Even as you speak, you are lining up arguments like little metallic Confederate soldiers to send out to the front line. And these are their names: Laud and Dang. And she's one untwitter-pated and cold-twisted sister, y'all. You've never listened even once. It takes all your time crafting your delivery, honing your coup d'etat, trying to remember exactly how to end this stalemate like all others. ... Well, ain't this some shit? I open my mouth, finally, and let out the cannonball that's rolled around my head for decades. Perfectly timed, I might add. And with hand on doorknob, looking back over my left shoulder, I ain't got no dog in this fight no more. I see the Swiffer standing guard at the back door where I left it this morning after my appointed rounds. It makes a perfect ending thunderclap as I throw it across the threshold. You carried me over once upon a time. And I say without looking back, and that, sir, is just how the mop flops.
Oh,
Oh,
Angie, that is awesome. See what I'm telling you? You go to the heart of a woman. You're that. I love your poetry. If you don't finish your poetry collection soon, I'm gonna come over there and kick your ass
I'm
because
almost done. I'm almost
good,
done.
good, because it needs to be read and women are gonna love it. Yeah, you need to get that done.
and you know, one of the things I loved about it while you were reading it is we have a bunch of cheap, trashy words there, and you elevated them and brought them into like a civilized home. But I love the way you played with, I'm trying to think of even some of the more upscale words you used to elevate our cheap, trashy pile. Um, I was trying to think if you could do it with a British accent, but you did it by using more powerful words to just bring them up a little bit and yet still keep their splendor, their trashy little splendor.
Thank you. That's for all those who think Southerners are ignorant and dumb.
Well,
Now,
I
who
didn't.
did that?
Whereas I just went trashy.
Yes, but you developed a gorgeous character. You know, I just went barefoot and pregnant, which to me seemed like the only thing to do with that pile of words. So we have the poet and the author, the novelist, who elevated them, created a character, and this just shows creativity is such a wonderful gift, and we all have it if we unpack it. Because don't you think there are some people who say, "Oh, I could never do that," but
A
I
lot
bet
of people.
yeah,
Yeah.
within their stories, they could unpack some beautiful or funny or some kind of things.
I
People
think
put
the
too much
word
pressure
list.
on themselves. Oh, I'm sorry,
Angie,
Angie.
Angie.
I think the word list unlocks something in you because you're not searching around for, oh, what's just the right word or how should I say what. You get a word list going and it magically unlocks that brain and makes a story or a poem around those words.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And Kat, you had something about unlocking that creativity.
No, I was just saying, people put too much pressure on themselves to be perfect. To write this prose that's going to come out sounding perfect and wonderful, and no, no, you just sit down and you write from your gut, and you let that. Once you sit down, you don't put any pressures on yourself. You don't self-edit. You just get the words down, start getting the images or character, whatever works for you. Your subconscious will take over. Now, you might write 3 pages and you may only end up keeping at the end a page or a page and a half of that, but you have a page and a half of wonderful stuff. So, people put so much, and they start thinking about being published before they even get a word on the paper. No, don't think about all that stuff. Think about your character and your words, and what brings you joy, and what makes you happy, and what makes you feel like you're accomplishing something for yourself. Write for yourself first, and then all the other stuff will come later. You can't be thinking about, where it's going to go or who's going to be reading it. It's you and the page and the words and the character or whatever, and that's it. In your little metaphorical closet, that's where you need to be.
Perfect, Kat. That was perfect.
Yeah, and I love that self-edit. I want to come to you, Angie, with the self-edit part as we think of how the writers. But one thing about closet, Kat, I think when it was in that first Grace book, there was a lot of closet in there when I was reading it. The kids would run to the closet, and I was thinking, yeah, the closet is a thread through.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till like last Tuesday. Y'all have to excuse me. This is the face of insomnia. This is insomnia face. So if I stumble around and do this a lot, that's because I have gone like months now, especially in the last month, with very little sleep. I'm in surreal world. But yeah, I didn't realize that Virginia Kate and her brothers were in the closet a lot. And there's this imagery of Virginia Kate in the closet, this one little imagery that I really just makes me feel so sad, but so I don't know, but I also love it. And I was just thinking the other day when I was talking about me being in the closet, I was like, oh, I'm pulling a Virginia Kate being in the closet, because it is feels really safe in here. This is like my office. This is my little sanctuary.
Yeah, and your coffee shop as well. Yeah. And this is the case of morning allergies. You have insomnia. I have morning allergies. Excuse me. Wasn't that lovely?
Bless you.
Bless
Yeah, bless me. Got that out of the way. It's been hanging there since we started the show, wanting to sneeze. You know how you want to sneeze and it doesn't? Angie, you know, Kat said something about people want to self-edit. And I wonder, too, when you're working with other writers or sharing your expertise, they want to make it perfect from that very first opening line. What kind of advice do you have for those self-editors who edit as they go every word?
That is the death of any art. Kat and I used to talk about that at our Barnes & Noble Writers Group. If you do not learn how to gag and tie and throw in the closet, if you can't kill him off completely, your inner editor, then you are screwed. Whether you're doing art or poetry or writing songs, if you can't gag that inner editor to at least till you can vomit out your words and get them down on paper, and working longhand versus on the computer is another way to unlock. But if you can't gag that editor within yourself, you will never be able to create. Yeah. And Kat's a perfect example. Even with insomnia and life changes all at once or whatever, if it is in you to write or make art of some kind, you know that that's therapeutic and your own therapy, and you will be able to do it, even if you don't think you can.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. You know, one of the ways, we each have ways to get our creativity going. And I know for me, if it's a writing day and I don't feel like it, but it's really a beautiful time, I'll sit down on my computer and I'll start, I don't want to write. I don't even want to sit here. I'd rather be somewhere else. And I don't want to write because, and I do like a little rant, and before I know it, I'm carried away and I start writing. So, and it always has seemed to work for me. So even if I don't even have an idea, I might even just sit down and say, I don't have one idea to write about today. And my mind is totally blank. And just go riff from that. And I think that the mind will just unlock. And so that's one of the things that I do if I don't have an idea, but I have a beautiful time period where I'd love to just be creative with words. So I wondered if each of you had ways that you unlock your mind, or do you have to get the idea before you sit? Okay, Miss Clausen, I see the big smile just erupt.
No, when you said unlock your mind, I thought, oh, that's a horrible place to. If they were to cut open my head and peek inside, it's a scary place. But yeah, when I write, I mean, I know this sounds all cliched, but I literally just have to sit at the computer, put my fingers on the keys, and I will, if I'm starting a book, I will write a sentence, and usually it's some quirk about that character that makes me think, or something about that character, and I just write a sentence like, you know, she didn't want to walk the dog that day. Well, why didn't she want to walk the dog? You know, I have to find out, you know, what's her reason for not walking the dog, and who is she? And then I just want to discover who this person is, and so I write about her. It's my own curiosity about who this person is that prompts me to keep writing. But if I've already started the book and I'm not writing, which I haven't been writing since my move, and that's part of my insomnia, is I just have to get in it and do it. And once I do, I'm swept away and I love it. And I always think, why did I think, you know, I didn't want to do this? This is my therapy. This is my love and my joy, you know. So yeah, that's you know, that's the way I control my chaos and my crazy, is through my writing, because that is one time I'm completely and utterly focused, and I'm probably very still other than my fingers. Whereas right now, if y'all could see me, I'm actually squeezing my legs sometime just to keep myself from moving around like this all the time, because I have way too much jittery energy. I just dropped something. Hold on a minute.
And there she goes.
Okay, I'm back.
You know, it sounds like, is this a fair statement, the way you get your books moving is through characters?
Yeah, they're real character driven.
Yeah.
The Lightning Charmer was my attempt at a plotty kind of book. It's the only book that where I actually thought more in a plotty kind of thing, you know, where, you know, there was this lost tribe of lightning charmers, and Angie is the one that helped me with that idea a lot. You know, she prompted that idea, and it just blew off from there. So that was my first plot thought, you know, because most of my stuff started with but until I tapped into the characters, I could not write that book properly. I kept stalling on it because I can't think in plots. Once I began to love the characters, that's when the book came alive. So yeah, I have to do things from a character-driven place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you get a lot of your good inspiration. Yeah. Angie, how do you get your creativity moving?
Because I'm a dabbler and probably ADD and drink 10,000 cups of coffee a day, I switch between projects if I feel like I'm stalled out or can't get going on. Do some poetry or some art or cook or something. And a lot of times when you do mindless chores, driving, which isn't a good thing unless you're ever a recorder, or showering or vacuuming, it unleashes something in here where the ideas can flow again. But here's the secret. Look, can you see this? There's no such thing as writer's block.
Okay, there we go.
I see it.
Oh.
And this is the cure. The cure is butt in chair, fingers on keyboard.
Okay, I'm not going to say that out loud. I might be saying something bad. Okay.
BICFOK. Butt in chair, fingers on keyboard.
That really is true. That is the secret. It's not going to happen until you get, sometimes I say I need the duct tape to get in my chair. I used to have a little chihuahua who has crossed over, Maddie Sue. And when I was writing, and there was one book, it was a nonfiction, but I had this deadline where I had to get all these words done every day. She would go to my chair and bark because she liked to sit behind me just like Riley does. Now Riley's back here. But she would bark until I got in my chair. So in a way, everybody needs like a Maddie Sue to sit by their chair and just be obnoxious until you go sit in it, or to sit in your closet. And then from there, you know, you got your butt in the chair. The next step is fingers on keyboard. But,
so Anne's cure for writer's block is a dog in your bahonkas.
Yeah. And I got a dog in my bahonkas, but when he sleeps, he's like spaghetti, so you can't quite grab him.
Oh, he's so cute.
Here's Riley. Did we wake you up? Did we wake you up?
Oh.
So, yeah, he likes to sit in the back, so that's where he is. Anyway, I thought this was great fun, and I think for writers, you can just see how an artist, a photographer, a novelist, unleash their creativity and their imagination. And Kat, yeah, inside your head is probably a very wonderful and wild and scary place. So, Lord.
Dang.
Dang, and yeah, all
Ain't
that.
Some shit.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, and today with our Mercury in retrograde, Angie woke up without Wi-Fi, so she almost got to broadcast from the truck stop, which I think would have been great fun. But who knows? Who knows? So I thank you all for being with us this morning. Go out and create some mischief. We've had some wonderful viewers. Go out and write. And if any of you are inspired to write with our little bunch of trashy words, create some magic. We'll be happy to read them next week. And also, Kat has a winner for the Name the Closet. They were all so good. She's going to contact them on Facebook. But how did you have to decide the winner when you had so many Name Your Closet entries?
I had to just pull it from my hat.
From your hat.
There were so many, and y'all know that, you know, I have a hard time deciding when there's so many wonderful things. So I just had to draw it from a hat. So I'll be contacting them soon.
Okay, and that's wonderful, and we'll see you next week. Angie, have a great vacation. Shake up the world as you go, and just enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, go out and write and create. Write hot, edit cold, take pictures, let your creative muses go, and thank you for joining us at the Creating Calm Network. And remember, no such thing as writer's block. Angie, are you supposed to say the word or just say button, share, fingers on keys?
Spick fuck.
I shouldn't have said. Yes. All righty. Bringing her in for landing with that. Take care, everybody. Enjoy
Bye,
your
y'all.
day.